I'm Russell Hancock. I'm the president and CEO of joint venture Silicon Valley Network. We're an organization that thinks about Silicon Valley, our overall health, our economy, the strength of our community. And in order to help us do our work, we publish on an annual basis an index. We call it the Index of Silicon Valley. It tracks over 60 different indicators, and it tells us how our economy is doing. It tells us whether we're moving up, down, or sideways. And then we use this information to help us on a regional basis decide what our priorities should be and what kinds of problems we ought to be solving and where our greatest areas of opportunity are. We're about to release the 2010 index, and it contains a number of very interesting findings that we're bringing to the attention of people, thought leaders, decision makers, and indeed all of us across the region as we think about our future. For 60 years, Silicon Valley has been the epicenter of the world's innovation. We've been a powerful economy contributing to gross national product. We've been overtaken by the recession, by a global recession, certainly by the collapse of our national financial institutions, and all of those trends finally caught up with us in 2009, and they've slammed us. Our unemployment now leads the nation, is in excess of the national averages, and home foreclosures are also hurting us in Silicon Valley. So there's a number of downward trends. Our income level is also falling off. Our productivity levels are also falling off. And in fact, it seems like Silicon Valley isn't firing in the way that it ordinarily has. And so there's a question that confronts us, and the question is, when the recession ends, will Silicon Valley be able to resume its place as the national leader in these innovative areas? Or are we going to have a very difficult time getting back to the place where we were? Well, the index is telling us that it's not at all clear. In fact, it's telling us that there's some troubling signs. A lot of people have always said that we don't need to worry in Silicon Valley because we're an innovative economy and we have a lot of things going for us. Well, this year the index is telling us that things like the number of patents that we generate in the region have fallen off for the second year in a row. The amount of venture capital that we raise in Silicon Valley has also fallen off significantly, and for the second year in a row. And we're also seeing signs that the venture capital industry itself is restructuring in fundamental ways. Liquidity events are no longer happening in the way that they used to. In 2009, we had a grand total of one IPO in Silicon Valley. So it would appear that this is going to be difficult. On the other hand, the index this year is showing us that there are some promising trends if we have a strategy in place to feed them and fuel them. For example, clean technology and the emergence of this new green economy. There is clear evidence that Silicon Valley is becoming a leader in those areas. And by those areas, I mean the generation of new materials, renewable energy sources, and the devices that help us capture those energy sources and implement them in new and interesting ways. It does appear to be in Silicon Valley's power to lead us to a new energy future. But it's going to require a different kind of strategy such as we've pursued in Silicon Valley in the past. We're going to have to work very carefully with the federal government as our partner. We're going to have to be doing a better job of bringing federal funds home to our region. Right now, those federal funds are going to places like Huntsville, Alabama, or to Detroit, Michigan. Also very worthy areas, but if innovation is our future, then we also need to be working with the federal government as our partner. So, in conclusion, I'd like to say that Silicon Valley has great strengths, but it also has great challenges, and the challenges are sizable, as big as anything that we've seen in our 60-year history. Joint Venture is an organization that works together with the region's leaders to bring a strategy to the approach we take to meeting those challenges, and we welcome you to be a part of that.